Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. Welcome to another exciting episode of So Frail Conversations. Today, I'm going to be talking about dick riding. No, not that kind. But dick riding, pole jocking, whatever else motherfuckers is calling this shit. Those are the two terms I remember, growing up and everything. And I, it, I remember hearing it and thinking, why do we have to associate the fact that we might fuck with somebody heavy? You know what I'm saying? That's one of our that happens to be a man, but it's like, yo, you dick riding, yo, get off his dick. And it's like this creates a world or a realm of existence where we see life from the perspective of I can't give my homies flowers. You feel me? Or I can't appreciate men that are doing shit and pushing shit forward. You feel what I'm saying? And this prompted because I had seen this comment on YouTube and dude was like, I don't want to seem like a pole jocker, and then went off a whole bunch of other shit. And I'm like, you know, as men, especially as black men, why is it that we have to stay in competition, stay in such animosity, stay in such, you know, disdain for one another? You feel what I'm saying? It's very rare that we're able to collaborate with each other solely from the perspective of dick riding. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, you may appreciate what somebody's done for your life. You may appreciate the inspiration somebody's giving you, you know what I'm saying? Or you may just value that person's craft and you expressing it, but then it's like, I don't want to seem like a dick rider. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not a dick rider. Like, you feel what I'm saying? And then hearing it, people will say, yo, get out that motherfucking dick, bro. Like, damn, let it breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, those things make it, in my opinion, it make it difficult for us to collaborate as people, as men, because it makes us say, okay, I can't fully engage with this person. You feel what I'm saying? Because I don't want to come off as, a dick rider or whatever the case may be. But like, we got to ask ourselves, like, what exactly is a dick rider? You feel what I'm saying? Me personally, I feel like a dick rider is the response to a motherfucker hearing somebody else get praise and they're not getting it. You feel me? Coming up, every instance in which I've heard the phrase, somebody said, like, yo, stop dick riding, would be in comparison to, it will be in the light of somebody giving another man praise and not giving the person who's declaring that somebody's a pole jocker or a dick rider the praise. You feel what I'm saying? And in the competition between men, the misogyny and shit. So for everyone, go check it out. We kind of hold true to that. We hold that in and we continue to operate as if that's a true reality for us and shit. You feel me? And um we allow that to control our narratives and our limitations when it comes to interactions with our brothers and shit. It's like, man, I don't want to be dick riding and shit. Like, but it's like, this is how you feel about your homie, or this is how you feel about this particular person. And this is not to side with or go in on celebrity worship and no shit like that. Nah, that's not what I'm talking about. Um, but as far as just the appreciation of that person putting whatever it is they putting in your life or whatever it is, it's like, as men, we need more time to stop, getting off. And I feel like and in those situations, when men actually have substance and shit to talk about, it's hard to listen to because, well, no, it's not hard to listen to. It's easy to listen to, but it's hard to share and, put out there more because it's like, hey, yo, man, get out that nigga dick, bro. Like, you feel me? That's the first thing you got to hear rather than, what I'm saying, hey, yo, but are you catching what he's talking about? Or are you seeing why I fucks with him like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, because of, what I mean? It's like, the first thing is like that person could be hitting, that person could be doing certain things to make the person who's recommending them seem, great. But the whole stigma of, man, I might be dick riding. So I don't want to give this man his flowers, or I don't want to show that this person needs to be acknowledged, or whatever the case may be, because I might be dick riding. But before we hop heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at the Just Seen Podcast. Be sure to check out my website, I Am Just Seen, to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of your podcast. Not this episode, but the podcast itself. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And as always, that's that for this and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into So Frail Conversations, dick riding. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right. So welcome back. And without further ado, let's just dive heavy into it. So this conversation really tapped in because it was like, I had seen this post. I was on YouTube and I seen this comment, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm, in the comments, because like the theme of the shit was like, I think it was on some battle rap shit or something, but whatever it was, I was reading the comments and I don't remember the whole comment. This is what stuck out to me. The bull said, he said, not to be dick riding, but I don't remember all the words, but it was something about like, this is how I feel about this rapper. Like, he's dope. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, he consistently, you know what I'm saying? But to know that he had to consciously acknowledge, I don't want to be dick riding. It kind of prompted something in me, because it's like, it creates a world where we become unafraid to give brothers their flowers. You feel me? We got so used to the competition between men that we can't collaborate. And a part of collaboration is acknowledgement of what you're collaborating with. When you're in competition, you're not willing to collaborate. You feel me? You're willing to, you know what I'm saying? Which is, in a sense, if you're not willing to collaborate, you're not willing to build, which by proxy is that if you're only willing to compete, you're willing to destroy. You feel what I'm saying? So when it comes to that connection to how we are tied to, the concept of dick riding, it's like we become difficult when it comes to collaborating, because in order to collaborate, you have to see the positive of a motherfucker. You have to see what contribution they can have. You have to acknowledge that contribution, how it affects and how it adheres to you as a person. But when we have this conceptualization about dick riding, it's like we can't give praise to each other as men. You feel me? As black men, it's like, you have your circle of motherfuckers that you could fuck with, but then it comes to, nah, I'm not speaking that on the outside. I'm not fucking with that from here, from there. It's like, I keep it to myself. Or when I do express it, I put a disclaimer on it where it's not so hard. It's like, yo, get off that motherfucking dick. You pole jocking, you doing all these other terminologies for what it is to actually show that you appreciate a motherfucker, right? But it's in that appreciation that we miss, and like I said, this ties into collaboration and competition, because most motherfuckers who express that shit, or that motherfucker dick riding and shit, they view the competition that they would want to have within that arena if they were there. You dig what I mean? This is why it's like, when we look at entertainers and shit, a lot of people end up living through an entertainer. And when somebody is expressing how that entertainer, operates, whatever the case may be, you got the people that live through and that don't. So some people will co-sign, but then some people will be, against it and be like, you know, I don't fuck with dude because blah, 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 or whatever the case may be, and it's like a fine line between dick riding and hating, but because the opposite sides of the same coin and some shit like that. But when it comes to the dick riding aspect, that's what we're talking about. Pulls. But now when it comes to the dick riding aspect, we get so enthralled in the fact that somebody else is receiving attention in the moment. Low key, that's how I be feeling. That's how I be feeling. Like, because if I'm explaining something to how somebody dope, they be like, oh, get out that motherfucking dick. Are you mad that I'm not bragging about you? Are you mad that I'm not speaking about the great impact that you had in my life while you've been in this motherfucker? Like, what are you really mad about to where you can express that, you know, I'm dick riding now and do it in such a condescending way? You feel me? And that ties into the fact that, like I said, we look at what we can praise and what we can't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like even if, and then that's another tricky side to it as far as like not dick riding, like, you know what I'm saying? Because dick riding is the thing. Like, motherfuckers could really be on a motherfucker different, not just fucking with them, but it could be something different. But in the dynamic of, when somebody is actually dick riding, you can't say nothing in the spirit of how you really feel about something, because they'll try to get you to see their side rather than just understand that you are your own person. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I remember, I'm gonna make a quick connection, then I'm gonna tie something back. So I remember when I was on one of them platforms. I can't remember which one at this point, but I was talking about Kevin Hart not being funny. And motherfucker came, but he getting money though. He said, motherfuckers always hating, but he getting money though. I'm like, nigga, I didn't say he was broke. I didn't say he was bankrupt. I ain't say he won't get no money. I didn't say none of that shit. I said he's not funny to me anymore. What was the exact reason that caused you to jump in to defend him against my opinion on him? And then it's like, part of me was like, bitch, so you gotta acknowledge that he ain't funny either. If you talking about he getting money though, you feel me? To add the though into your sentence, that, yeah, I agree with what you saying because he ain't funny, but he does get money. So people tie that a lot of times into that perspective. And I'm saying that because it's like that person could step in and it's like, oh, the thing about his dick riding, give people their flowers. Yeah, that man may be he may have been giving Kevin Hart his flowers. That's it is what it is. But what's the merit in that? You feel me? Our quote unquote giving brothers flowers is tied to them getting money. You know what I'm saying? Somehow it's like we can comfortably do that when it's giving somebody their flowers based on the fact that they make a certain monetary gain or they have a certain power. They're in a certain position of power. That's when we like, okay, now I can do it. But if it's just somebody that's like, they really have no merit, they just there. It's like, oh, yo, you dick riding. You feel what I'm saying? It's some kind of connection tied to it. So it's like the way in which you're able to pay homage to each other as men is conditional. You feel me? Very conditional. But it's important because that ties into one specific piece about respect. You dig what I mean? Respect has to be earned. It's never given. You feel me? I'm bittersweet on that. If you read So Frail 2, you know why I'm bittersweet. When So Frail 3 finishes, when you have So Frail 3 in your hands, you'll really understand a lot more why respect is that, for me. But when it comes to the dynamics of, you know, respect being earned rather than defaulted, it becomes problematic. Because now it's like, in order for me to give you homage, you have to have done something continually. And then it's like, that's where it becomes defined as dick riding in a sense is because people are like, you're showing respect to somebody I don't respect or I don't know to respect or I haven't met enough to show it. They haven't done anything to get the respect that I have. You feel me? So I'm gonna say you dick riding because that motherfucker ain't, you know what I'm saying? And it'd be like, you'll hear conversations about a motherfucker and it'd be like, well, you gotta express what you know. You feel me? You gotta express what you know. And so, like I said, when it comes down to money, power, respect, key to life, you feel me? When we're looking at what it is that we respect, what it is that has gained our respect, and we're able to speak on it, everything's cool. Especially, it's, and it's not dick riding either when you're in the niche, in the clique. But like the moment you're speaking on something that you're not a part of, it's like, yo, I'm dick riding now. Let me stop. And it's so ingrained in our community that it starts so young. I mean, it was a joke because it was a cartoon show, but like when Riley was like, yo, he wanted to go, meet Thug Nificent and shit when they moved. And he said, but I just want to say, yo, what's up, Thug Nificent? Like, I don't want to be dick riding nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that shows how intertwined it is. The fact that when we truly have respected somebody based off of conventional standards of respect, the standard of, respect is earned. It's like, I'm only really fucking with this person because they earn, quote unquote, the respect because they're in this celebratory space. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm going to give them that. But at the same time, I don't want to accept because it's like, Doug Nificent had a rags to riches stories. I mean, rags to bitches. But nah, he had a rags to riches story in which it's like, we like that. We like the feels of that. You feel what I'm saying? We like to know that, yo, somebody came from nothing to something, like absolutely nothing. And there's a group of people that are willing to pay homage to it because they've been in that position. They know, okay, my shit's right around the corner. Like, if they can do it, I can do it too. But then on the other side of that, you had those same people who on the other side who will be like, damn, they did it, but I didn't. That was supposed to be me. All these other things came up. And then it's like, when somebody's describing it, like, man, you dick riding. Like, that motherfucker ain't all that. You feel me? I'm gonna tell a story one time when I was in high school. And this was when I used to rap. I used to battle rap and shit. I used to cook motherfuckers, bro. Like I really used to cook motherfuckers. I did this shit. Like, you feel me? So there was a guy, and this was on me. This was on me because me and him, we had a freestyle battle, and I was trying to bang him over the head for some money. So I said, I'm gonna blow the first round, then I'm gonna double it up on the second. But I think he had a hustle too. His hustle was a little meaner than mine. I ain't even gonna knock it. I respect that shit. So he beat me on that first one. And then, I went first the second round. He never came back to finish the round. So he got my $5. He banged me because he knew it was. But the purpose that I'm making with that is that in telling the story, it's like the people outside of that shit that heard me, they called me the best. They said I was the best in the school. Like, nobody could touch me. And I mean that with the most modest expression I can, despite how monotonous I sound right now. Nobody was fucking with me then. And he didn't like that. Because don't get me wrong, he was dope. He had a nice pen, he could flow and shit. But he ain't have me. He ain't have what I had. And so, like, I was the type of person who at the time, like, I was doing features and shit. Like, you feel me? It won't like no upper echelon and shit, but it was like set up that way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Homies would call, hey, I want you to get on this track with me, freestyle, do this, blah, blah, blah. So I was getting that, and he wasn't. So when they told him, like, yo, Ray nice, yo, like, he nice. He's like, man, that nigga ain't nice, man. He ain't nice, man. Get off his dick, man. He ain't nice and shit. Right? And now it ain't bothered me that that's what he said. I don't give a fuck. I knew I can cook him. You know what I'm saying? So he was on some, I beat him when we battle or whatever the case may be. So they called me. It's like, yo, he said he beat you in your battle. I said, I threw the battle. I said the first round, I said, tell the story whole. I said he was supposed to come back for the second round and double up for the money, but he ain't never come back. And everybody was like, ooh, ooh. So he was like, man, whatever, we could battle tomorrow then. I was like, all right, cool, we'll battle tomorrow. So it was, again, he was telling, I'm saying the story because he was like telling people like, yo, y'all dick riding and blah, blah, blah and shit like that. And it's like, nah, they really fucked with me outside of the fact that I was good and I was dope. It was other shit that I, musically that I had done that made them say, yo, you know what I mean? It wasn't just, yo, let me freestyle this man. It was like, yo, the content, the different pockets I go in. So we meet up the next day and, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm like, I'm about to cook this motherfucker, bro. So as soon as we see each other, we in the hallway. And this ties into the respect factor in conjunction with, dick riding and shit and the stories of what's going on. So in the hallway, he's like, yo, all right, let's just go somewhere where it's just me and you. I said, no, you disrespected me in public, bro. We not going to do this in private. I'm not going to cook you in private. I'm going to show them why they told you I was better than you. I'm going to show you why I'm better than you. I'm going to show you why that time we battled, I really played around with you because I'm not going to do it again. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm saying that because in my fuck up of that, in my expectation of what I said, I didn't garner the respect. Now, this is twofold on that because this is tying into both dynamics of how we view respect as men. On one aspect, you feel what I'm saying? I didn't earn my respect. I'll admit that because I just played around and threw it. But on the other side of that, he didn't respect what I did. You feel me? Off the strength that I did it. I respect what he did off the strength that he did it. That's why I battled him. I didn't come on and say, nah, he whack. I'm not going to fuck with him because I'm a cook. Nah, I was like, all right, I'll battle you. You feel me? But I did play around. So my respect wasn't given. So in my respect not being given, I could see how he would look at the other people who had that respect for me and say, y'all dick riding. You feel me? And I'm saying that because after we battled, when I say like, I guess he had a good 32 bars, 216s, so that's what he thought it was going to be. I said, I'm a penman and I'm a freestyler. I do this. You feel me? So I was like, oh, we still going? He was like, nah, so I kept flowing. I had the whole motherfucking hallway rocking. The motherfuckers thought we was fighting down that bitch. The security guards and shit coming down. They was like, oh, they just rapping. I was like, yeah, we good. Ain't no fight. After that, it was like, everybody was like, damn, yo, you cooking them or whatever. So the bell rung or whatever. So technically it looked as if we couldn't finish. There was no finishing because there was a small window of it was like going back and forth, him, me. And then when it was on him again, he ain't have nothing else. And I knew he didn't. So I was like, you on? He just started doing that little side chat. I was like, yo, think about it. I'll go again while you thinking. And I kept going. And then I stopped and I was like, it's on you again? Oh, you still thinking? Bam. And I kept going. And it was like, bruh. So then the bell rung and shit. So it looked like, whatever. So time fast forwards and shit. I had PE. And so he comes into the gym one time. He was scared. When motherfuckers scared, they go to the gym. I don't know why. We just did. So he skips. He goes to the gym. And while he's in the gym, it's like he walked up to me and said, yo, kick something. And I knew what he was doing. He was testing me. And so I dropped some shit. I just kept flowing and shit. He was like, bro, you the fucking truth. And like when he said it and shit, I was like, you're saying it again in private. I was like, so after, it came, he said that shit. I was like, now don't switch up on me next time. He was like, nah, bro, what you mean? I was like, you know what I'm talking about. Cause you saying this shit right now, but then when you get around, you be like, yo, I cook them on this, that, and the third, and you know you can't. You know you can't fuck with me. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm saying that to tie back into the whole theme of this conversation about how, you feel me? He was responding to the people as if, the people that was talking about me and she was like, yo, y'all dick riding until he experienced it. You feel me? Till he experienced it. After that, I will say this. After that, it was more so a, yo, bro, like, yo, Ray nice. Like, Ray nice. It's not no, you know what I'm saying? No hating shit. Like he was telling us like, yo, bro, I see why y'all said that. He different. He's different. Like he really does that shit. And that's the triggering response to one of the reasons why It's like we can't give our brothers their respect in the beginning. And I'm saying that because it's like the competitive nature is so strong and so high that it can't be a collaborative nature. Dude was nice. I ain't even gonna hold you. That's why I was willing to go against him, because I say, yo, he can push me. You feel me? Because I gotta beat him. You feel what I'm saying? Because I know his flow is cold. Like, I gotta beat him and shit. But we could have collaborated rather than compete. Now I destroyed him. And I showed the leagues of separation between us and shit. But in the moment, it was, now this is not to say, oh, yo, I wanted my flowers from him, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm not on no shit like that. But it's like, how different would that conversation have gone? How different would that time have been had me and him acknowledged each other from that perspective rather than as competitors? You feel me? Because on the other side of that, I had another homeboy who actually, like I say, when it came to pens in the school, I was number one and I was top one. Like, that was it. And then it was like him. He had to be like, it was him. And I say, like, it was four people. It would have been me. It would have been me, KD, S Rock, and that would have been it. We would have three names, but they knew they couldn't fuck with me. But in that, it was like steel sharp and steel. You feel me? Me and KD became real close. Like, we became tight. We was actually doing songs together because we seen it as, I'm like, yo, you one of the dopest motherfuckers here. I said, I'm not gonna take that away from you, bro. And he was like, yo, you one of the dopest motherfuckers here. And we started working together. You feel me? So much so that it was like the collaborative piece was like, you feel me? It was better. It was stronger. It was more structured. So, like, you feel me? We would go to each other's crib. Well, we wouldn't go to each other's crib. I would go to his crib and shit. But nah, I would drive out, you know what I'm saying? Because we lived in different cities and shit. And so I was able to actually, I'm a little older, so I was able to drive out to where he was at. And so I remember one weekend we just dropping, like, I had beats and shit. Like, we just listened to shit. We writing shit. We did it. We was going to do a whole mixtape. But, like, it was, in the brainstorming shit, it's like, bruh, I bet this is how we're going to do this. And so they, we rehearsing, going over the flows and shit. They're like, yo, bro, how you come up with that shit? I'm like, yo, I don't know how you twisted that shit, but it's like, it put that. One thing that I've noticed is, like, a lot of people be like, yo, the competition in hip hop. I'm gonna get back to the main point, but I think the competition in hip hop is really collaboration. Like, people are like, yo, I need that to make me drive. You know what I'm saying? And it's when we're willing to collaborate with each other, collaborate with other greatness. You know what I'm saying? Without the egos involved and shit like that. And so tying it back to this is like, that's what our collaborative piece was. Like, if we caught a writer's block and shit, we'd be like, bro, why don't you flow it with this? And it's like, dude, that do fit. And then you now put your own scheme to what they just said to make it fit your bar. So it's like, it becomes different. You feel me? The respect becomes earned. And then it's like the homage is paid easier because it's like, I went to war with this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I think that ties into it too. It's like, we're so ingrained to be competitors and shit that it's like we only learn to respect the motherfuckers who go to war, who we can see go to war, who are willing to go to war with us. You know what I'm saying? And that changes the dynamic, But then on a grander scale, when we look at it in life, it's like, if I can't rock with you on that type time, you feel me? I'll be dick riding. You know what I mean? You see, I keep bringing this back together because it's like there's so many different missed opportunities that we have as Black men because we don't come off as dick riding. And that's going to lead me to a whole nother point right now. And that point is, why is it that everything has to be about fucking genitalia? You feel me? What is it that within our respect has to be tied to something about the male genitalia? You feel me? It's like, to fuck with that man is to be dick riding the shit. It's like, oh, that's some pause worthy shit or whatever the case may be. But it's like, at what point do we acknowledge it for what it is as the truth of what we're experiencing? You feel what I'm saying? When I tell people that misogyny is the competition of men before it's the hatred of women, people look at me like I'm tripping. Nah, misogyny is the hatred of women. Yes, I get it. You put a defined term to it. But what came first? Did we really hate women first, or were we steadily trying to compete with men and didn't want to be dick riders? You feel me? Metaphorically, of course, but realistically too. I'm not just talking about in the early eras. Look back over the history of years and shit. You feel me? Motherfuckers really long down with the king. Now, granted, kings, a lot of the kings and shit that we hear in the stories were like that. They were tyrannical. You feel me? But what about the motherfucker who just wanted to take the kingdom? You feel me? I'm going to assassinate the king. Like, nigga, the king got to that point from living a life of regality. You dig what I mean? They reached that point because they have. So when the people say I fuck with the king, it's because they did some king shit. Here comes a motherfucker who decides, I don't want to do the king shit. I just want to kill the king and show y'all I take the title. Scar and Mufasa. That's why it hit so motherfucking hard when he had Zazu in the cage singing Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen. They said, sing something with more upbeat. He was like, it's a small world after all. And as I got older, I didn't realize why the fuck Scar got mad. He was like, no, anything but that. And it was like, I see why. That was somebody who decided, you know what I mean? He wanted what Mufasa had. You feel me? Anybody that like, and on that type of time, anybody that would have been, you know, they would have been dick riders. You feel me? They would have been dick riders in comparison to like how Scar viewed them if they were talking about Mufasa. It's like, my nigga, you wasn't fighting hyenas. You was manipulating hyenas to work in your favor. You know what I'm saying? Think about that final scene. Scar was scared of hyenas. Ain't that some shit? You go from the king where Mufasa was like, yo, if you ever come near my son again, or when they were sitting on the john and he was like, um, sire, hyenas in the Pride Lands. That nigga went by himself and said, let me go get these motherfuckers out of the Pride Lands. But then Scar, he get eaten by the motherfuckers because he was scared of them on a real level. You feel what I'm saying? But the type of energy the Scar had is the type of motherfucker who would call a nigga dick rider when they're saying, hey, yo, that nigga Mufasa went and beat up 3 fucking hyenas. Man, get off his dick, man. Motherfucking fucking dick rider, man. You act like he ain't fight 12. You feel me? He ain't fight 12 of them hyenas and shit. He only did 3. Like, the fuck, man? You feel me? It's motherfuckers like that because they want to be in that position that you're gloating about. They want to be in a position that somebody is speaking about. You feel me? And they feel that they deserve to be in that position till they experience what it has to take. You feel what I'm saying? Till they experience what it has to take. And that is one of the biggest issues with this. Because I asked this question for my brothers and shit. Why do we have to be at that space? You feel me? Like I said, because it goes eons on like patriarchy, that shit, it all ties into misogyny from the directive of being a competition between men, which ultimately sets the tone for the theme of why this episode is what it is about, you know, dick riding. You feel what I'm saying? I'm the better man. Like, I'm the better person. I'm this, that, and that. So I can't collaborate with who am I? Like, this is what the competitive nature ties into rather than the collaborative nature. The competitive nature says, I have to be. Competitive nature says, I have to be the best. The collaborative nature says, I have to be better. When we're in that space and we're acknowledging somebody dick riding, or you feel me, or we are in a space where we're like, I want to compete with somebody, but I gotta downplay them. I'm here, and I just gotta complete, like, not grow with them. You feel me, but grow in solidarity. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I gotta downplay their growth. You feel me? I gotta downplay their growth. So it's like when somebody that you know is expressing something, it's like, damn, like, this motherfucker's doing this and you're not. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not. And it's like, I gotta nigga, you dick riding, bro. Get out that motherfucking nuts. It's like, is it really, or are you just upset that you two are in a different competitive space because you choose to be in a competitive space when you could be in a collaborative space? And that is one of the reasons that's tied into the fact that we're not giving each other our flowers right. We don't do this shit until death comes. It's too late then. It's like, damn, yo, bro was so this, bro was so that. You feel me? But while they're alive, it's like we're not willing to give that. You feel me? Rick Ross got a song. I've heard Wayne say it too. But Rick Ross got a song where he's like, you're nobody until somebody kills you. I don't adhere to that shit. I'm not accepting that affirmation, but I get what it's saying culturally. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's not until you're gone that the very people that were hating on you, that were calling people dick riders for fucking with you, will be the first to speak your name, will be the first to show how much homage they had. Case in point, I'm gonna fuck y'all up with this one. Jesse Jackson and Martin Luther King. Jesse Jackson gave off the energy of he would call a motherfucker dick rider in the name of whatever. Al Sharpton too, but I'm sticking mainly for Jesse Jackson because he was more so seen with, Martin Luther King. And you can tell. That's why when the hit happened, like, this shit wasn't an accident, bro. This is why when the hit happened, they was like, yo, hit, go for the person with no tie on. Pay attention to that picture. If you ever get a chance to look at the picture of the Martin Luther King assassination, everybody decides to point. Like, how was that cameraman right there for a random shot? How do they have a picture? Like, think about it. How do they have a picture of this shit? How do they have the picture of them pointing off where the shot supposedly rang out at? Nobody's in mass hysteria and there's a body dropped. Then I said, go back to those pictures, you know what I'm saying? And the people who didn't have a tie on were the right one. Those were the people to let you know, don't shoot us. Jesse Jackson was one of those that didn't have a tie on. Martin Luther King did. That was the indicating point. And then you randomly have a cameraman that's already at the same hotel. When the body drops, it's too set up, right? It's like, oh my gosh, like, you know what happened. But this is the energy of a motherfucker who views other people as dick riders for fucking with him. I'm willing to put money on it. Jesse Jackson had that type of energy to where, when Martin Luther King was doing his he wanted to be that shit. Same shit when fucking Obama wanted to be. Like, he was tight with Obama. I wanted to run for president too. They wouldn't hire me. You feel me? Now, y'all know how I feel about all of this shit. Stick to the principles. You feel me? I don't fuck with really none of the shit, but you feel me? The stories are there. You feel me? Jesse Jackson went from crying when Obama got elected in public. You feel me? Oh my God, this is history. To say he'll cut the nigga nuts off. Why you want to cut a nigga nuts off, bro? His nuts bigger than yours or something, bro? Why you want to cut a nigga nuts off? You feel me? And I don't see why people so excited about Obama and shit. I cut his balls off and shit. And it's like, nigga, what the fuck he do to you? You feel me? He beat you to the punch that you was supposed to get because Jesse Jackson ran for president or tried to or some shit like that. You feel me? This is the type of the energy though. You feel me? This is the energy that we got to face and we got to deal with. You feel what I'm saying? It's never been. It's been what's been ingrained in us. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's been what's being ingrained in us is like, I can't pay homage. Like, how much more I'm not now. Y'all know how I feel about, I'm on my woke side, conspiracies and all that other shit. It's like, but how much more could have been done if Jesse Jackson was just, if he would have worked with Obama for the people, rather than bitching about Obama doing this shit by himself. Maybe Syria wouldn't have been bombed. You feel me? Maybe they wouldn't have pizza and hot dog parties and pasta parties and shit with different types of kids. Who knows what the fuck could have happened if he would have just collaborated and not been in the space of hating because he was, on that dick riding energy. I don't want to be a dick rider, so I'm gonna be a hater. I'm gonna say this motherfucker ain't shit. They ain't what, they think they are, blah, blah, blah. You feel me? And it eventually reaches a point where it's like, what happens? Like, another instance, in more recent times when this shit happened was the whole, well, right now I'm seeing it, I'm playing with another circumstance, but the whole Derrick Jackson energy, right? The Derrick Jackson energy. Motherfuckers hate him. Motherfuckers hate him. Men, brothers, didn't like him and shit. Now, outside of the shit that he fucked up and did exactly the opposite of what he preached about, you feel me? We got to look at one of the reasons, like outside of that shit, look at the platform and what he was representing. You feel me? Why did we dislike that? He was saying love women, you know what I'm saying? Respect women, whatever the case may be, whether motherfucker can do it or not. It's like, I mean, come on, you got to think about it. We come up from a culture of do as I say, not as I do. You feel me? Is it really that hard to believe why he would, you know what I'm saying, be in that space? But looking at it from that perspective is like, motherfuckers didn't like it. Us, as men, we was like, yo, he a simp. He this, that, and the third. He the type of motherfuckers like. So I'm going to break down why I'm saying this. Right. So now we look at the other side of that. Look at Kevin Samuels. Right. He's one who completely tears down women. Not in that regard. Like, he does, but I will say this. He doesn't tear women down as much as Derrick Jackson acted as if women were never the problem. You feel me? But because you have the clips where Kevin Samuels is giving constructive criticism, but for the most part, it's about breaking women down. Like, y'all ain't shit. Y'all need to get off your high horses or whatever the case may be. But it's like, men aligned with that. The very men who did not align with Derrick Jackson are the very men who align with Kevin Samuels. And it's like, what is the alignment? Because like I said, now it's like, let's go to the dick riding part. We address the dick riding based off of we're more comfortable when we actually respect the being. You feel me? Say, hey, yo, that motherfucker speaking facts or whatever the case may be. But yet, when it's not the quote unquote facts that we want to align with, then it's like when somebody acknowledges that, it's like, yo, you dick riding. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I said, my thing with that is like when we looked at Derrick Jackson, anybody who aligned with his, oh, y'all dick riding, man. He just using this for clout, blah, 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 blah. It did happen. Don't get me wrong. It did happen. That's what Kenny said. We told y'all he was like this, and the third, right? But in that showed that there was no respect given to a motherfucker who was acknowledging that you should treat women better. Hear me out. But there was the utmost respect given to women, given to the man who was degrading and belittling women in front of you. What does that say about the dick you riding? Pause. Hey, huddle up, broskies, because it's time to elevate. The secret to evolving masculinity is to define it, understand it, then apply it. The So Frail series defines masculinity as the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. From this definition, I explain how masculinity is not just the hat that we wear, but it's the essence that we must exude through application. If you enjoy the So Frail conversations, why not read the books that inspire them? Visit IamJustSeen.com right now to add the So Frail series to your library to get a better understanding of what masculinity really is. I promise, after reading So Frail, you will never look at masculinity the same again. What does that say about the pole you jogging? Pause. What does that say about the type of energy you have garnered, you have shown has gained respect from you? Because there's So Frail conversations. You did. So this is about us addressing us and our bullshit, because we can in one breath have all of these new platforms. Like, I got to toot my horn beep, 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 beep. But when I look at all of the conversations that men are having with men, it's just powwows to talk about women, to talk about the shit. Y'all, they fucking up. They doing this. They doing this. The ones who are like, it's like, where did that come from? Where did that come from? And I'm saying the reason why I said to toot my own horn, because my directive is to talk to men about men and men's problems, not to talk about men about why our problems should not be problems because women are this, that, and the third. I don't give a fuck about how the sisters are responding to us or whatever the case may be. I give a fuck about how we're setting a new template and a new standard. So everything that I direct is going straight to us and the problems we face and the solutions we can solve, we can use to solve these problems. But I can't get off being illusory to where it's like, I'm going to talk about how men like this. I'm going to talk around men by talking about women. Because either there's going to be those men that align with my side, or there's men that's going to be, against my side. But rarely am I going to talk directly to men and say, hey, homie, this is our problem. Let's fix this shit. You feel what I'm saying? Which now ties me into the next point. Because when you do have that, that's when it's like, I'm not listening to that shit. I'm not listening to what I don't respect. I'm not listening to what I don't align with. And anybody who does align with it, they dick riding. You feel me? They dick riding. You feel me? I've had a conversation with a homie whose perspective I completely changed. You feel what I'm saying? Because it was on some shit. Like, I made a post about something. And I made a post about someone. He was like, see, y'all young boys is always talking about the women or whatever the case may be. Y'all need to be standing aside. It's like, yo, go read my fucking book, So Frail. If you're going to talk shit about shit, me making a one-dimensional post, go read the shit that I'm actually standing on. You feel me? Change his motherfucking perspective. He came back like, yo, bro, like, I get you. I get you. I said, I know, bro. I'm not going to, like, I do this shit to make y'all motherfuckers listen. You feel what I mean? But in that, the original comments, he was like, yo, the people on your page, they just dick riding. No, don't nobody be riding my dick. Like, that's really what it is. You feel me? And it gets to the point where it's like, they start to express certain shit and say, you get away with this because of blah, blah, blah. I get away with this shit because there's nothing to get away with. You feel what I mean? People have a line to fuck with me. And then it's like, this is where I'm seeing the whole shit play out, because it's like, you want what I do. You want what I do. Like, I be watching the mannerisms and shit like this. This is my horn tooting moment. You feel me? I'm still being modest, but this is my horn tooting moment, because it's like, those conversations are the ones in which dudes are talking. I'm like, yo, you cannot give me, like, you feel me? I've seen motherfuckers, and this is no bullshit. I've seen motherfuckers who have told people that, oh, you dick riding on him. He ain't this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And I don't claim to be that shit. The fact that you acknowledge that I'm not means that somewhere in your mind you acknowledge that I am, and now you have to negate it for yourself because this is where you want to be, Donnell Jones. You feel me? But the purpose and the perspective of where I'm going with that is the fact that when I watch them, they start to emulate behaviors that I do. They start to emulate the shit that I do. They start to say certain shit that is Freudian slips that comes out. One guy hit me and was like, yo, bro, he said, how come if I said that shit, this was his exact words, not exact, I'm paraphrasing. So this was his similar words. You know what I'm saying? But he said, if I would have said that shit, I would have had women going crazy in my comments talking like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But how come you can say it and they not like that? I said, because I don't just beat them the fuck up. You feel what I'm saying? I had a homegirl comment on one of my posts and said, she said, the reason why we listen to you because we know it always comes from a good place. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, you got to look at it from the difference between, like, he was looking at it from a perspective of competition rather than collaboration. Why don't you ask me how the fuck I'm doing this shit? How the fuck can I say the same shit you saying, but women will take it the wrong way and take it the right way from you? Delivery, that's how it is. It's how well you're going to deliver your message, how well you can deliver your message. You feel what I'm saying? But that's contingent upon whether or not you and your own mentality are going to perceive yourself as being a dick rider for some shit. You dig what I'm saying? Because it's like you acknowledging that what it is that I'm doing, you fuck with. You fuck with it. You feel me? This is going to segue into the next point. You fuck with what I do. But rather than finding out how it is that I'm doing it, you rather assume that it's just because motherfuckers is dick riding. It's just because this, that, and the third. No, it's me. It's you feel me? And this is in all things. This is in all things that we face as men. A lot of us as men, we have difficulty growing because of the fact that we can't collaborate. You feel me? And we can't collaborate. And this is one of the things that keeps us from learning from each other. The whole dick riding energy makes it so that we can't learn from each other, bro. That's bad. That's bad as fuck. Like we can't learn from each other because it's like, hey, yo, homeboy, he dropping this game. Yo, you should go check him out. Nah, man, I ain't into that shit, man. That motherfucker be on some shit. Like, you feel what I'm saying? We make the justification rather than say, yo, let me see what this shit is about. Let me see if this is something that I should actually listen to. You feel me? So rather than that, it's difficult. You feel me? Because like that competition is there. And it's like, you had as much like, yo, fuck that. I ain't about to compete. I'm gonna collaborate. Like I got brothers right now, you know, I talk to them, you know, we talk to each other frequently and shit, hit each other up. And we have moments where we pay homage to one another. And we love talking about steel sharpening steel. But sometimes after the steel is sharp, you need to acknowledge how sharp the steel is. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing to know we sparring, we sharpening each other still, but saying, yo, bro, I see you getting better. I see you evolving. I see you doing your thing without feeling that negative energy of, I can't get this man his credence. I can't get this man his accomplishment. I can't acknowledge that because to do that doesn't allow the space for me. You feel me? When we step into that collaborative mind, when we step into that collaborative energy, damn, that was something I ain't even put in So Frail 3. Damn. Oh, well. Maybe So Frail 4. Nah, I'm done. I'm done with that shit. Like, I'm done with that cycle. But anyway, the collaborative energy is what we don't embrace. You feel me? So it's like the competition sharpens the steel, but the collaboration says, I now know what kind of steel sharpens me. I know what steel I sharpen. I know what steel I can, you know, be involved with that works perfectly for me. You feel me? But when we have that, oh, I'll be dick riding energy, it doesn't allow us to collaborate. Like some of my brothers are really in a different space. Like we be hitting each other up, bouncing the entrepreneur ideas off of each other and shit. And it's like, bruh, like I wouldn't have seen it like that. You feel me? And in some cases, I couldn't have seen it like that. You feel me? And you were able to see it like that because you don't necessarily have all of the insight that I have. And this is not in a sense of downplaying a motherfucker. But sometimes you can have so much that you just need so little to actually get the point across. You dig what I'm saying? And it takes somebody with so little to say, why don't you just do this shit? And you like, bruh, how in the fuck? Because you be having so much that you can't see it. But because they don't have so much and they have just enough, they can see it a different way. You feel me? I've had conversations with homies that's like, you know what I'm saying? Building with some of my entrepreneur homies, they were like, yo, bro, how you think I should approach this? And like we actually brainstorm it. And it's like, I mean, I feel like you're already approaching it right. Just what about this point? Bro, I forgot. And vice versa. We're able to feed off of each other and say, yo, that's smart as fuck. I didn't even think to, like, how did you, like, bruh. And it'd be on some shit like, because it's collaborative rather than competitive. The competitive side is more so I'm going to keep certain gems from you, but the collaborative side is like I'm going to expose you more. It's like, bro, I don't know how you didn't see it. Like the way in which you explained it, I've seen it the moment you put that in there. It's like, but the problem is like when we're so convoluted with so much, that difficulty makes it even more difficult to see because we try to use everything we have. Sometimes you don't need to. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes you really just don't need to. So that collaborative piece is like me and my brothers, like we have those moments where, yo, give that love to each other. You know what I'm saying? I got homies, that randomly hit me up, bro. Hope everything's good. Haven't seen you in a minute, like blah blah blah. Like, chop it up. Like, yo, keep doing your thing. Like, yo, this shit is feeling like it's dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? And vice versa with each other. Like, yo, I see you getting sharper, bro. Like, yo, I got a homie who's on some plant-based teaching shit, and it'd be like, bro, you tight with this shit, bro. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And it'd be on some shit like when we be talking about, yo, coming from you, that means a lot. And I'm like, nah, bro, I hadn't tapped into that shit yet. What you mean? Where'd you get that from? You feel what I'm saying? And we are able to build and collaborate. I'm like, yo, that shit makes sense because I can see it from, again, I can see it from a convoluted perspective of, and he'd be like, bro, how did you not see it? You always talk about the information. You always got this. It's like, how did you not see that part? I was like, I don't know. And he was like, yo, I got it from you. I said, I didn't even remember saying that shit. But it's like, you got it from me and you did what I couldn't. You feel me? I got to give my man, like, I'm going to give you, like, now show me how you got there. You feel me? And that's what the collaboration, and it never in our perspective, like, yo, I'll be dick riding if I ask him this, I'll be this. I'm like, nah, bro, when I got questions and shit from my bros and shit, like, I hit him up. But like, bro, tell me about this, that, and the third. Like, how did you get this to work? How'd you do that? You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of times people be like, oh, it's because people gonna copy you, people gonna do that. And some people might. Some people might. Me personally, I don't give a fuck if somebody copies me. You feel me? For one, they're not me. But for two, it's like, that's what life is about. And this ties back into why it's difficult for us to learn the way we're supposed to. You feel what I'm saying? Because you're gonna take from somebody else's shit and you're going to put it into yours. That's how you do. You feel what I'm saying? You have to find your way and find your niche and find what works for you. But it's like, in that, it's like, yo, these are the ideas. As long as you don't take my main shit, you feel me? But it's like, but see, when you are in tune with that shit, you know when the motherfucker put themselves into some shit. It's one thing to take somebody's shit verbatim. And that's where we shift to the collaborative side. It's like, you feel me? I'm gonna hoard my information, and this ties into like, as I said, it's like we have difficulty learning, you feel me? Because of that, we also had one of the main reasons why we had difficulty learning and we stay capped off is because we're also not willing to teach. It's an even trade. You feel me? It's an even trade. When you had that dick riding energy of, I don't want to be, dick riding, so I figure it out myself. You wasting time. You wasting time believing you a dick rider. Because, quote unquote, pause, you feel me? It's a motherfucker riding that motherfucker's dick that's moving faster than you. Simply because they're choosing to say, okay, bam, this is what it is. And so the faster we learn, the quicker we're able to go teach something. And then we're able to keep that fluid movement happening. You feel what I'm saying? If you're not willing to learn, you're not also willing to teach. Because teaching reaffirms learning. You dig what I'm saying? And when we get to that point where we're looking at it like, I can't fuck with this. It's like I seen conversation with my mother, like, somebody's younger than you. I think I may have said it myself too. So I'm going to acknowledge that I'm guilty of this shit. But for the most part, you hear motherfuckers say, that motherfucker younger than you and you calling them big homie. You feel me? I definitely said that shit before. I think I was talking about like how rappers and like people that's like older, how are you taking advice from, rappers that are younger than you? Now, the context in which I was meaning that and shit, like, look at what the fuck they talk about. They'd be like, yo, that was real talk. Like, it'd be some simple shit. And that's what I'm meaning. Like, there's no reason why that younger person should have been at that level of teaching you, in regards to that, on some simple shit. Simple shit. When it comes to the complexities of life, that's different. You feel what I'm saying? I feel personally that's different. Like, example, learning that you should value your credit and you you're 35, 40 years old and you hear it from a 21-year-old, that should not be. There's no reason. You see what I'm saying? Like, that should not be. It's like, yo, motherfucker, 20 years old, young kids talking about credit and all this shit like this shit help me get right. It's like, that should not be, you know. But when the person is younger than you, they're telling you about an experience of life that you have not experienced yet, that's different. That's a little bit different to me. And this is why I'm on both sides of the fence with that shit, because there's certain things that a younger person should not be teaching you. I'm not saying that they can't, but there's certain things that they should not be teaching you if there's progressive levels of life. But at the same token of that, there are things that are not just worldly that require you to see that there's no age bracket in between it. So what I'm saying is that it'd be like, people be like, yo, this person is younger than you, so you can't learn from them, whatever the case may be. You feel me? But it's like a lot of the sessions that I be having when I be booking sessions, a lot of the people be older than me. Physically. Physically. And the separation is there once we had it's like, yo, bro, like, when did you have the time to learn and figure this shit out? It's like, I don't know. So it's like we strip that part of, oh, you're younger than me. It's like, and one of my homies, he was like, yo, one of the difficulties I had was like talking to you because you're younger than me. I was like, for what? He was like, cuz, man, the fact that you younger than me, but you like this. I said, did you experience what I experienced though? I say, yo, you're asking me about my experience with something. You know what I'm saying? Something that I've had more time to experience than you. It don't matter the age and shit. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? It doesn't matter what the age is. The experience is going to bring you back together for whatever it is, no matter the time and age. You know what I'm saying? And that is what we're supposed to be tapped into. You dig what I mean? But if we, you know, like I said, we get into those conversations where it's like the age and then, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to be dick riding, all of the shit like that. And it's like, strip all of that shit away and look at the experience that you're talking about. You feel me? So like I said, this ties into me having, you know, respect garnered. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when people speak, you know what I'm saying? I've heard conversations, people like, yeah, man, I was talking to such and such, one of my homies about this, that, and the third. And I was telling them, listen, he was like, nah, you feel me? One of my homies, she was telling me that she had recommended my book, So Frail, to a dude. And he was like, nah, my masculinity straight. My masculinity intact. She was like, all right, never mind. You feel me? Because it ties into the competition, the collaborative expression. You know, I don't think I've ever said this, but low key, I'm going to go ahead and say it now. This is one of the reasons why the So Frail series is called the So Frail series. This is why So Frail, a reality of Black male masculinity. So Frail 2, toxic femininity. So Frail 3, masculine divinity. Masculine divinity is the most inviting title. All the other titles are repulsive. Do you know why I did that? Because if you're not willing to face the title of a book, you're not willing to face yourself. These So Frail conversations are not affirmations to say, oh, all masculinity is frail. It's to keep those out of it who ain't supposed to be here. Those who are willing to collaborate. Those who are willing to learn from each other and teach each other. Not just learn from each other, but teach each other too. That's who this shit is for. That's what So Frail and the So Frail conversations is for. I can't have everybody in because that dilutes the quality. You feel what I'm saying? It saturates the market. I've learned this shit early on. This is why I'm like, so the motherfuckers that ain't supposed to be reading it ain't reading it. So Frail, a reality to Black male masculinity. Off rip, you already like, man, I ain't reading this bullshit because it's like, man, fuck it. But there's the people that dare to tap into it. And there's almost every one of my brothers who have read this shit has said, bro, you went somewhere I ain't think you was going to go, but I'm glad you did. It's like, I had my reserves. I thought about it. I was like, man, I ain't going to read this shit because I know it's going to be one of those, you feel me, dudes dick riding this dudes dick riding. And then dudes is, you know, hyping women up and making it seem like it's all us and blah, blah, blah. They said, nah, but bruh, You went in and you covered bases that I had not thought about before, or shit that I had thought about and never wanted to say. Like, you've done it. You feel me? And those are the brothers that I'm able to collaborate with. You dig what I'm saying? I could have very well put the keys to stepping into masculinity, blah, blah, blah. That's how the shit gets oversaturated. You feel me? Like this high value man concept. This high value, that's inviting. That's inviting to listen to. So you're gonna have the men who think they're high value men. Hey, I'm whispering because this is a dope part, beloved. High value men don't need to be around motherfuckers to validate the high value in them. It don't need to be titleized. That ain't a word, but it don't need to be that. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know why I whispered that shit, but it was dramatic effect. But when we are in those pockets and we have to have inviting shit, the man in you ain't gonna find it. The man in you ain't gonna come out. Like, this is starting to segue a little bit, but it's still on thing. When it's inviting, the boy is there. When you're still able to walk through knowing that this is not inviting to me, the man showing up. Different levels of shit. You feel me? When I looked at all of my brothers, everybody who's read So Frail and given me the feedback, it's always a similar theme to the shit. It's like, bro, this is challenging me. Right? And it's like always the same shit. I thought it was going to be something totally different from the title. But this was something that I realized was deeper than what most people try to make it seem. You know what I'm saying? And so the shit's titled this way to keep the motherfuckers out. So it's like, I got homies who be sending So Frail conversations that they homies are like, nah, I don't like this shit because the motherfucker cuss too much. Motherfucker this, that, and the third. It's like, but are you getting what you're supposed to be getting? So all of this shit is repulsive shit. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's not repulsive in the sense like stay away. It's just like, no, who's supposed to be here is going to be here. You feel me? Who's supposed to be here is going to be here. And on the other side of this, men, one thing we got to start doing and we got to really embrace more wholly too is being comfortable. This ties it all in. Being comfortable with not having somebody ride your dick. That's the other side to it. You feel me? When people point out dick riding and shit, low key, they want their dick rode. Because all of the shit they talking about is like, nah, man, that motherfucker ain't this. I feel like blah, blah, blah. It's like, you're not in the same light as that person and it's showing on your face and you're turning green. That's really what it boils down to. You feel me? You're going to have to be able to be comfortable as men in order for us to truly get to the point. It's like, I want to reach the level of success too, or I want to reach this certain point without reaching that point. You feel me? If I didn't say it, I thought it at one point. It's like, competition is about being the best, but collaboration is about being better. A lot of us just want to be the best. And when we see somebody who's at the best, that we envision as the best, we don't even know if this is the tip of the iceberg. We don't even know how far they can keep going. We don't even know if they can elevate. But we see that as, we identify it as the best because we set the standard to them rather than collaborating with them to see, okay, I can grow more. I'm going to use this example because y'all know I fucks with Dragon Ball Z. But after this, this is going to be the end of it. So Goku and Vegeta. Goku and Vegeta is the perfect story of this shit. You feel me? Anytime somebody was talking about Goku or whatever, Vegeta hated it. Vegeta all but said get off his dick whenever motherfuckers was talking about Kakarot. You feel what I'm saying? But for a long time, Vegeta wanted to compete with him. I'd say up until Super, Dragon Ball Super with the Tournament of Power. Yeah, it's always been, I'm in Kakarot's shadow. Kakarot stays one step ahead of me. Kakarot always does this. Do you know why? Because Vegeta was trying to compete with Goku rather than trying to collaborate. You feel what I'm saying? And rather than so to compete means that he wanted to be the best rather than getting better. And the first time he let it go was when Majin Buu dusted him off. Goku went Super Saiyan 3 and shit, and Vegeta was like, I try to hold him off, whatever the case may be. But as Vegeta's giving his little story, whatever, he said, yo, he said, I watched you, you know what I'm saying? I watched you just reach new heights. He said, I wonder if it's the love from your family. I wonder what it is, and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I tried to tap into those things because I wanted to do what you did to get there. So he was on some, I thought it was your family. You feel me? He was like, so then I got a family, and then I didn't grow that much. He said, I thought it was this. And he said, then I did it and I didn't grow that much. He's like, so what happened? He said, I realized it's just you. It has nothing to do with you trying to be the best. So you trying, and he was like, then he said the word, this was the Majin Buu side. He was like, Kakarot, you are the best. So the moment, that was like one of the first glimpses, the moment that I realized just watching the series and I got the conceptualization that Vegeta's about to be different was when they fought Jiren. That was the first moment in which it's like on paper that Vegeta was on some shit like, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to try to compete with Goku anymore. You feel me? I'm going to collaborate with him. I'm going to be the best me. I'm going to be a better me by utilizing the better him rather than trying to be the best. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's a limitation to the best. What do you do when you stop? That's it. You can develop King's disease, which is going to be another episode coming up real soon. But you can develop King's disease. You feel me? To where you stay there. So after that, when he uttered those words, you feel me? Goku ended up going Ultra Instinct, but Vegeta first went like Super Saiyan Blue 2. Like he made a upgraded transformation off of Super Saiyan Blue, which was like the God tier or whatever the case may be. So he went God tier 2. Goku didn't get that. Goku was using Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken, right? So it was a different thing. So Vegeta, his last conversation was he uttered with it. He said, I don't care how Kakarot got it. I don't care about his Ultra Instinct. He said, I will level up my way. I will do this. He broke that point of I'm competing with him to do what he does rather than now I'm going to collaborate as me with the respect to what Goku is. So now where we're in the manga part where it's like Goku got Ultra Instinct and Vegeta got Ultra Ego. He got his own thing. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm saying all of that to tie into the main theme or whatever it is. As long as we are in our minds where it'll be dick riding to express the love for one of your brothers who is doing something that you want to do or going somewhere that you're going, it's going to make you a competitor. You feel me? It's going to make you a competitor. However, when you are outside of that to say, bam, I can respect this man for what he's doing. I can collaborate with him. Not only does it open up the doors because now we can learn. Now we can teach. Now we can grow. Now we can be that rhythm that we need, that ebb and flow that we need to balance each other out, to make better circumstances for ourselves, our people, and our community. But as long as we feel like it can only be one, as long as we feel like we got to be the best, that's when the problems come in. You feel me? The whole conscious community and shit, I fucked with it. I still fucked with the conscious community. But there was like an epoch when it was like all of the new faces was coming out. We got to debate. We got to debate because I got to show them better than you. I got to show them better than you. I got to show them this. That was that dick ride energy. You feel me? So many motherfuckers like, this motherfucker's a bitch. Why you fucking with them? Blah, 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 blah. It was acknowledging each other like, yo, quit dick riding rather than, yo, let's collaborate. Let's collaborate. Rather than debate, let's put a special together. Rather than beefing, let's come together and okay, here's my knowledge, here's my perspective, and have a forum. Rather than the debate, let's have a forum. You feel me? That changes things because there's no shine in a forum. Everybody's equals. The debate means somebody's going to reign supreme. But when the forum hits, it's like all the lights shine. You feel me? If you have an issue with your light not being as bright as somebody else's or whatever the case may be, you're not going to sit in those forums correctly. You feel me? You have to be in it. And it's like, it fucks with you more because when you lose in the debate, you're unable to, you feel me? I've had mad conversations with people, you know, when that era, people was like, you're going to debate this. The great elder, you feel me, and ancestor transition on, John Henry Clark, said, I only debate my equals. Everybody else I teach, I internalize that shit. But I don't like, people will be like, yo, you should debate. You should start doing debates. People hit me up, I want to debate you about. So I haven't, like, I feel like there's a debate. You should never debate with somebody in their realm. You feel me? The debate request that I've had, motherfucker, like, I want to debate you about So Frail. Don't do it. Don't. Don't. This is not like arrogant play shit. Like, this is mine. This is my shit. You not playing with me here. You feel what I'm saying? That's that competitor shit. Rather, let's collaborate. Let's dive deeper into the aspects of So Frail that you're talking about. You feel me? Because some of this shit I've never been exposed to. So I'm going to underwrite it, or I'm going to say this is not what I fuck with. So it's wrong altogether. It's not. It's like, let's dive into why you feel that way. This is why I was saying So Frail 3 is that book. So Frail 3 is that moment because I really got tired of the shit. Motherfucker, I want to hold up a mirror to this shit because I feel like you left this out. All right, bro. I'm talking about an essence. I'm talking about something. How you gonna define masculinity as an essence? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how to tap into it. I'm gonna show you different. And when it's all said and done, like I said, So Frail 3 is it. So Frail 3 is it. And it's like when it's all said and done, watch how there's nothing for you to talk about. You feel me? At this point, the only conversation they've had is like, show me how you found this. Nobody can say, I don't agree with this, or I don't believe this, or I don't this, that, and the third. People's going to say, the question is now going to be, show me how you found this. This is a question that has been asked by motherfuckers who were on a type time where we were able to give each other our flowers. And we were able to grow because they would come to me and it's like, yo, rather than, yo, this is bullshit. I want to debate you about, I'm going to kick your ass. Like, for real, I'm going to kick your ass. Like, you know, you can't be a cruiserweight or a welterweight going in thinking you're going to fight Iron Mike Tyson in his prime. No, the weight is different. You can fight. Like, Floyd Mayweather is a phenomenal boxer. But Floyd Mayweather would not beat Mike Tyson. Not in a heavyweight bout, because that's what they would have to be, because Tyson can't come down. You feel what I'm saying? In that clash, like it's not going to be the same. But motherfuckers don't want to acknowledge that shit till they get punched in the motherfucking mouth and knocked out. You feel me? But all of that, all in all, was to say that when we break out of the competitive energy, and we get into collaborative energy, we stop saying, oh, I don't want to be seen as dick riding because I'm saying it's not. I'm really fucking with what dude talking about. I'm going to give him his, but I'm going to learn. And then I'm going to teach, like, I'm going to be able to intertwine with this motherfucker and grow as a human, grow as a person, rather than having to wait on the wrong shit to come into my reality. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's easy to be the best, but how hard is it to be better? It's like the best is relative. Think about it. Like that's what it is when we are on the competition side. The best is relative. And once you reach the best, you can stay there and you'll only be interacting with motherfuckers who are the best. That's a part of King's disease. You feel me? Who are beneath your best. But when you get better, you surpass the best so many different times. You feel me? Stop trying to worry about being the best and worry about being better. You get so much farther because what happens when you reach your level of the best? Do you stop? No, I want to go beyond that. And people see you constantly, yo, you just keep getting better. Like, where's your limit? I don't have one. I have a limit when I decide that I just want to be the best, not when I decide I want to be better. And all of that is contingent upon, not all of it, but a lot of it is largely contingent upon the fact that when we are connecting with our brothers, when we are in a situation like, we cannot, if we don't collaborate with them. No, we feel that collaboration is dick riding in many ways. So we don't. So therefore we compete. And when we compete, we end up losing the battle ultimately because it's like we don't learn, we don't grow. Therefore we don't change, we don't transform and change. And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes merch and get your merchandise right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. I feel like this was a good one. Like this one, like I said, it came up because I was watching some battle rap shit, and the motherfucker was just commenting like, "Yo, this is my favorite rapper, but I don't want to seem like I'm dick riding." Like, you feel me? It's like that's not dick riding, bro. That's acknowledgement. Like we should be able to do that shit. If you fucks with homie, if you fucks with dude, like acknowledge the shit. Like, yo, that's how you feel. It don't take nothing away from you as a man and no shit like that. But it's like, why can't we? You feel me? You know how much more and further we can grow as a culture if we did that shit? We embraced each other, respected each other. You feel me? And maintained the decorum that was a part of the respect. Like, this is a dope conceptualization because it's like, at some point, we got to break this shit. In order for us to go forward as men, we got to break the competition. We can't compete no more. I get it. The development that we get from competition, like I said, is still sharpening steel. But the development that we get from collaboration is so much better because the steel still gets sharpened. But then it's like, oh, competition is when steel sharpens steel. Collaboration is when steel fashions steel. Oh, you heard it here first, my guy. That is a bar. Competition is when steel sharpens steel. Collaboration is when steel fashions steel. When you start to collaborate, that's when you're able to fine tune what your steel is. You know what I'm saying? Some motherfuckers is good with a sword, with katana. Some motherfuckers is good with sai. Some motherfuckers, yeah, I'm going down Ninja Turtles. Some motherfuckers is good with Bowie knives and shit. It's the different dynamic of how the steel is fashioned. You feel me? Still sharp and still, yeah, I got a sharp blade. Cool. You feel me? I got a sword. I got a knife. I can, but then when my shit is fashioned into something different, look at Mortal Kombat. All of these motherfuckers, like on Mortal Kombat, when they started doing the weapons and shit, motherfuckers coming out with swords, like everybody had a sharp weapon for the most part. Some people had sticks and staves, but a lot of people had sharp weapons, right? Still sharp. The steel was sharp, but then it had to be fashioned for the individual. And that comes with collaboration. What do you need to make sure that you're getting the best out of your steel? You feel me? If you just compete and it's like, as long as I got a sharp sword, I'm good. No, I need to know which sword I'm supposed to have. Am I supposed to have a sword? Am I supposed to have metal hooks? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Raphael and Leonardo, Ninja Turtles. You feel me? Leonardo had a sword. Raphael had a sai. You feel me? Both of them motherfuckers were sharp. Sharp steel. They were fashioned different. You feel what I'm saying? That's what collaboration is going to do for you. And it's hard to collaborate if in your mind you conceptualize, I'll be dick riding if I do. You feel what I'm saying? Shit different. But there's levels to it. You feel what I'm saying? There's definitely levels to it. And so I feel like as men, we gotta break out of that shit. Because we only getting so far as competitors. Now let's be collaborators. You feel what I'm saying? Let's keep each other sharp. Like, yo, you brought up something that I didn't think about. Like, and rather than hating on you or feeling like, yo, I'll be dick riding if I'm gonna fucks with that because the buddy said some dope shit. Now I'm gonna learn from him. You feel me? I'm gonna learn from him. He learns from me. So it's like, we got to get back to that point where we can collaborate in that. You feel me? So, yeah, that's really where I wanted to go with this one, man. And I know I mentioned So Frail 3 a lot of times. So if you're hearing this at the time of this recording, So Frail 3 is out. You feel me? I know, hopefully, if you made it to the end. However, it doesn't officially release until December 28th, 2021. That's when it goes live on the other streaming areas and shit like that. I mean, that's streaming. This ain't streaming shit. As long as it goes to like Amazon, Barnes and Noble books, like all of the distributors are going to start getting it December 28th. So of course the pre-sales are going to start then. Personal books, my personal page buying directly from me, it's already open, it's already lit, it's already up, and of course it is in the website, So Frail Books. Go to my website IamJustine.com and go to So Frail Books, and by the time you're hearing this, the link will be active for you to get So Frail 3 with all of the other four books I have from my bookstore. So yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know that. And in between that, real quick, I'm just gonna give y'all, because I've never done this before but y'all will be the first to get it. Then of course everybody else. But I'm gonna give y'all the table of contents to let y'all sit with it for a little bit. You feel me? But yeah, chapter 1 is divinity defined. You feel me? Chapter 2 is protector and provider. Chapter 3 is the 3 types of masculine energy. Chapter 4 is the rites of passage. Chapter 5 is sexual energy. Chapter 6 is the Aritu. Now, Aritu is the Kemetic word for chakras. You know me, I try to keep it as cultural as possible, keep it us. I ain't gonna say too much about Aritu outside of that because I actually said a lot more in the actual chapter. But yeah, so chapter 6 is the Aritu. Chapter 7 is the mind. Chapter 8 is the tree of life. Chapter 9 is divine masculine. Chapter 10 is noirophobia. You heard it here first. But chapter 10 is noirophobia. That chapter, I hope, is read thoroughly. That chapter is, I hope it is read thoroughly. You feel me? And then the last chapter, of course, are my final words. But that's the track list. You feel me? That's the track list right there. You got divinity defined, protector and provider, 3 types of masculine energy, rites of passage, sexual energy, the Aritu, the mind, the tree of life, divine masculine, noirophobia, and final words. After reading So Frail 3, the full series makes sense. I promise. Like, if it was already making sense, and you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, So Frail 1 was the definition, So Frail 2 was the acknowledgement, and So Frail 3 is I got to think of a third part for that, for this trilogy, how I want to do it. The transformation, I guess. But all of that goes hand in hand. You feel me? So, yeah, shameless plug. Y'all got it now. If you made it to the end, you got it. But yeah, that's all, man. So start learning to collaborate more and get off the whole conceptualization of dick riding, man. It's time to change. So go kiss your babies. Make sure they're eating their vegetables. And our sons, man, let's teach them how to collaborate rather than just compete all the time. Teach them how to collaborate. You feel me? And how to acknowledge collaboration as the forefront. Because like I said, competition sharp is when steel sharpens steel, but collaboration is when steel fashions steel. I think that's how I said it. Yeah. But if we learn to have our young homies and our kids and our sons able to start fashioning that early, it changes their perspective. And I'm going to tie it back in one more time just to the Goku and Vegeta example, because like Vegeta's expression was always just sharpening my steel. You feel me? Goku was always fashioning it. That's why Vegeta, his skill set is saying, like, I'm going to be saying, that's it. There's nothing else. I'm not learning from nobody else. You feel me? Goku has been, bitch, whoever can beat my ass, I'm going to learn from you, motherfucker. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So Goku has, you know, Piccolo, you know what I'm saying? Like all of these different experiences that he's had that he's taken from. You feel me? And he's using it. Like the motherfucker throw a solar flare, he'll do a destructo disc, he'll do some, because he pays attention. Like he learned instant transmission because he went with the, you know what I'm saying, the yard drats and all that shit. Like he's willing to fashion his steel. You feel me? We got to get out of that, just, you know what I mean, that mentality. And it's like, let it with us, bro. Like it's us, homie. We home. Like let's really lock in and do that shit more for ourselves and collaborate more. You feel me? And we can get a lot farther, and let's make sure we teach our boys to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Yeah, go be sure to kiss your babies, make sure they eat their vegetables, and I'm gonna see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, freedom. I'm out.